Action.
I'm Uncle Saturday, and this is the Burnaby Village Museum. The Burnaby Village Museum was established in 1971 here at Deer Lake Park. It is a village that is designed to look exactly like a 1920s village. It's got a little under 30 buildings here. Each one of them are heritage buildings. Some of them have been brought in from other parts of the lower mainland and the country, and other ones were here when they erected this place as Burnaby Village.
So we call this one the farmhouse. I mean, it's the Love farmhouse. The Love family was the people who built it, Jesse and his wife Martha. So 1893 makes it the oldest house in Burnaby. By a technicality, Burnaby became a city in 1892, and the first building permit issued was for this house. So yeah, it's kind of notable, and he was well known. I was a counselor and was on the school board, quite a few things. So it's a very well known house. Yeah, and we know quite a bit about what it looked like in 1925, and so they've like really made it precisely like this is how they had it for sure.
The wash basin that can last around here is really nice.
So
What are the parts? So this is where the wood burning.
that's right. You put your wood in there. So this would very much be like high heat, medium, and low. But then also you can see there's a bit of space here. The air can circulate around the oven to somewhat keep the oven even. Obviously, it's going to be hotter over here, but they were very efficient. And this one has a water tank. So there's piping that goes through the back. And then you can see this is how they had it in 1925. That water tank would be filled with hot water if you had the fire going. And then there's a gravity feed system, so you can have these pipes through the roof and down here into this sink, and on the other side of that wall is the bathtub. So as long as you had a fire going, you had hot water out of the taps.
That's really cool. I know they do it for a lot of cabins, and they have the induction, copper induction coils around for heating, so it's really cool.
Yeah.
What is this? What is this?
And that's to catch the ash. So the ash falls down here, and then you slide that out and dump the ash out. Yeah, they did all right. Yeah.
What is this right here?
That's actually a water chamber. So you got hot water. You can see there's a tap on the far side.
Oh, that is so cool.
And then in this case, it attaches to that heater up there.
Yeah, very cool. And your name is?
I'm Leonard.
Thank you so much, Leonard.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much for stopping in.
That's right. This
Hello?
is also
Hello?
later added
Hello?
as well. So if you imagine like a
Hello?
modest
Hello out there?
two-story house, they were working.
Are you one of the 562 subscribers for Uncle Saturday? Well, thank you so much for subscribing. I love each and every one of you. Thank you very much. Two of my favorite things here are this beautiful reproduction of a wood stove oven to keep the main floor warm from the 1920s, and also this very lovely 1920s oscillating fan. I think that this was a really wonderful piece of technology for that time, and I think they still use them today.
It's like the only entertainment they have is like piano and radio and books.
Oh yeah, I actually think it'd be kind of nice. It'd be a little bit, your life would be a little bit easier with that thing. You know, like we.
No YouTube, no Instagram.
No YouTube, no Instagram. Like if I were doing this video back then, it would probably be on like a little kaleidoscope thing that we go. As you can see here, they've widened the bridge that goes from the front entrance to the small town itself. They obviously just made a concrete bridge from the old wood one, and they've widened it, and it looks a lot nicer, and they just must have done that last year. So they're constantly renovating this place, which is really cool. As you can see, the actual Heritage Village is separated kind of into 5 separate little areas. The first one is right around here, which is the farmhouse we were just visiting by the entrance. Go across the bridge, you can see the old wood bridge right there. It's been improved to the new concrete bridge. Then they have a couple little sections right here. They have where we are right now, which is the schoolhouse. And then over here is the restaurant. That's the first little section right here. Second little section right here is the tram station that they brought in. They had this brought in from the train line up near Patterson Station. They have the carousel over here, which we'll definitely be visiting later. It's one of the funnest places to go, and you, of course, exit through the gift shop. Then they have over here where you have the blacksmith, the little area that talks about the influence of the Chinese influence of the railroad here. pharmacies over up here as well. And the fifth little area is right over here, and this shows the different designs of the original types of log cabins. So everything around here is the 1920s village, and all the little houses around here are the types of cabins and houses and stuff that when people first settled around here would have had. So these are the smaller, more rural and rustic style of houses for people when they're first settling down into
here we
Burnaby.
have an Indigenous one as well.
Oh yes, we have the Indigenous stuff, and we also have the little Indigenous center right here, which we'll be exploring at a little later time as well. And that's kind of the map of where we're going. Let's go check it out. This here is the Tom Irvine house. It was one of the very first houses. Tom Irvine built this house. He was a prospector, and him and his roommate Bob built this place together. Bob passed away, and then Tom remained unmarried for the rest of his life and died in 1964. The Tom Irvine house was brought over here and set up as part of the History Museum. Another pair of men that lived together here were Kurt and Rod. Kurt and Rod.
It's so bad that it's funny.
Kurt and Rod. Bort Station here was part of the BC Electric Railway train system, and it was brought here to the Burnaby Village Museum in 1977. This is one of the interurban railway trams. It's the Lower Mainland in Vancouver's very first subway system. These trams, there's one here, one in Steveston, one in Cloverdale, one at the North Vancouver Museum, and there's a smaller one at the Old Spaghetti Factory. Rumor has it that that one is haunted. I know because I took a date there and she ghosted me. All aboard! Subscribe to Uncle Saturday. The interurban would often go from Hastings Street and then go up Main Street, and this is where the 1223 would go up till about the 1930s. Could you imagine back in the day taking one of these old interurbans where everything here, all your transit luxuries were made of wood, brass, and leather? So the restoration for this carousel was actually very intense. This is a 114-year-old horse. And if you can see here, you can see what one of the horses look like when they're just kind of left to rot versus the ones that are actually on the carousel and that have been fixed up. It's a lot of love and effort. Apparently, according to the volunteers here, each one of these horses took about 10,000 hours to fix, recreate, and get back to their previous glory. Tokens for the carousel are available at the front concession and at the gift shop here beside the carousel. They are $2.85 each, and it is a very cheap ride, and it's well worth the wait. So this is the main thoroughfare of Burnaby Heritage Village. You have the bank, the post office, the gas station, the blacksmith. And one cool thing about this area is that Murdoch Mysteries have been filmed here. A lot of TV shows use this area for period pieces. It's a really fascinating space. I have nothing else to say. Here at the Burnaby Village Museum, they also have a Chinese pavilion section, and they seem to have this year is the Dragon Inn, which was a Chinese food place that was around on Slocan and Kingsway by the 2400 Motel. It used to have a large neon sign that was up and down Kingsway. It was unfortunately hit by a car and destroyed in the early 2000s. But the restaurant itself is out of business, and I'm glad that they actually have this whole pavilion here kind of showing off the food and culture of that restaurant. One of the cool things they have here is they have a uranium knife. That is a knife that glows in the dark. And uranium was popular until it became too expensive. Also kind of radioactive, but there's a lot of collectible uranium glassware and plutonium glassware that you can collect from the 1950s and 60s. And some people collect it just for the eclectic and the neon of it. One movie ticket, please. One thing I love about watching a movie from over 120 years ago is just back then, exactly like today, too many children in the theater. This is Old Curly. It's an old steam engine. One of the first in Canada. I'm just making stuff up. I have no idea. I just know it's Old Curly. And like any good village history museum, Burnaby Village has an on-site blacksmith. And over that way. Here they have the refurbishment of a steam engine. These steam engines were used in the 1920s for logging. They've been used for a lot of the larger wood cutting instruments and everything along those lines. I love these old machines. Can you imagine working in a factory with all the machines making like a whole bunch of different noises? Like you think modern factories are allowed, you can only imagine these old factories. Using these old steam machines to generate electricity would have just been fascinating, trying to heat them up, load them with wood to cut wood. So just around here, this is sort of some of the original cabins that they built when people started settling the area, and a lot of the people that would settle and live in smaller cabins were the Japanese. And so we have a Japanese bathhouse over here if you want to take a look at it. There's a lot of Chinese, Indigenous, and Japanese culture represented within the fabric of the village here. So I'm glad that they're using the mystery of history is kind of being gathered together, and not just from a Western perspective, but all aspects of expansion and colonization for here. So it's interesting that there's more than one group of voices talking about the history of Canada and Burnaby. Here at the Burnaby Village Museum, they have the Indigenous Learning Center, which is along the main thoroughfare. It has been opened within the last 3 years. It represents the Coast Salish people largely. They usually have an Indigenous advisor here that you can come talk to if you have time. They deal with a lot of the red cedar bark and a lot of the various touchable, amazing instruments and tools that the Coast Salish use, and the amazing carvings that they made. Over here, some amazing representations of a lot of the art that they would make, a lot of it out of mountain goat wool or out of red cedar dry reed weaving. So they would weave entire intricate artistic baskets. Whenever they talk about an Indigenous culture weaving baskets, you always don't think of this a level of artistry and intricacy that every item you would create would go into. It's beautiful. And there's also a looming process for the mountain goat wool. So the Indigenous Center here is open along with the rest of the Heritage Museum. It'll be open throughout the summer. It is beautiful and amazing here, and I'm glad that they have this here representing the First Peoples, the Coast Salish of BC. We're here in the Royal Bank that was, interestingly enough, brought here from Squamish across the ocean. The nice volunteers here were able to talk about how they were brought in through boat down the Strait of Juan de Fuca, down the Georgia Strait, and here to Burnaby. Just transporting it here must have been a whole process. That's really cool. In memory of Godrin W. Heron, a member of the staff of this bank who gave his life in the Great War from 1914 to 1918. Now, if you want to learn about the history of food here, you can visit the bakery, or if you want to get some real food, you can come over here and go to Maya's Cafe. They have coffee, food, hot dogs, ice cream, various things to eat, such as chicken strips and fries, and they also have beer and wine if you're feeling in the mood for a break. This is the Seaforth School. It was built in 1922. I always quite like visiting old schoolhouses in a lot of places. Like there's one in the Calgary Heritage Village Museum, and I always love seeing these old schools as they would call them. But you can see, if you kind of look over here, you can see how the classrooms are set up. But I'm always fascinated. I always wonder, like 100 years from now, is someone going to visit my old high school? You know, like is there going to be someone someone walking around and going, I'm like, oh my goodness, they had to use Google.
ChatGPT.
I know. Yeah. Could you imagine someone visiting your high school 100 years from now and just being marveling that you had to use a keyboard?
I don't think that our school would last that long. They just don't build things that last these days.
But I like it if you look at the walls and how they do it. They have every grade level has its own thing. So this entire class was just all the kids in the neighborhood in one class together. And one teacher with 3 apples, one teacher would have to teach every different kid a different skill set. I always thought that was really interesting. And then look at the old British flag before Canada became its own country. So this is the tinsmith. It's like a blacksmith, but for lower metals like aluminum and different alloys. And so they would make things like ductwork or cans. That's really cool. You don't even think about that. You always figure blacksmith just deals with everything, but no, this is for like much more like sheet metal and just much more smaller and more concise types of metal that you need. That's really cool. They have a general store up in the common area, so they don't want to have like this is a smaller store. That would be the bigger store. You know, basically that's Walmart, and this is Save-On from back in the day. More expensive and tiny. Thank you so much for joining us today here on Uncle Saturday. Now, I love it here at the Burnaby Historical Village, and it's just a wonderful time to visit. I didn't want to show everything here, so I just kind of gave a small spattering of the things that are here, just to check it out, to give you an idea of what's available here. The Burnaby Village Museum is open in the spring, the summer. They also have events for Halloween and for Christmas. So you should really check their website and see all the amazing things they have here. Admission is by donation. The carousel is a lot of fun to visit. This place is an amazing little slice of heaven in Burnaby. So thank you so much for joining me. I'd also like to thank friends of the show, Eugene, Tatiana, and Tatiana's daughter, Leona, for coming along for the ride today. My name is Uncle Saturday. I make videos of things I like. I just hope you like them too. See you in the next one.
Close it up.
This is my outhouse outro.